Hello, Jonathan. So you asked the question about how to start a gaming league. The Detroit Tabletop Gaming League was started by me to have a place for people when we played to be able to showcase the games that we were playing and just to talk about and discuss the different types of games we were playing. And you wanted to start one in Alaska. Never been to Alaska. But I'm sure you guys have a lot of activities that you do indoors, considering it's Alaska. And if you want to build a group, the insights that I can give you um, are this: um, take a survey of what type of games your people want to play. Is it fantasy games? Is it sci-fi games? Is it historical gaming? What type of gaming does the group that you play with want to do? um, Once you get that, then you can narrow in on what games you'll be playing, what type of terrain you're going to need, and the interest level of the group. If it's a fantasy gaming group, um, then you know what type of miniatures you're going to need. You can do Lord of the Rings. That seems to be really popular. Um, there's other medieval and fantasy based games you can play. If it's a sci-fi game, the world is your oyster. I recommend using the guards rule system for that. I have uh, copy of the Duplicate People, Attack of the Duplicate People game, which you can download for free on the Guard system. It's a Star Wars, Clone Wars era rule set that is miniatures agnostic. Um, if it's historical, of course, we carry 2,000 different historical miniatures, so we can hook you up with armies and stuff like that for anything in World War II. And then you can even do Weird War, which you have vampires and werewolves and all kind of monsters and creatures and sci-fi weapons in that if you want to mix your genre. So like I said, the word's your oyster at that point. So you can play things historical, or you can play it weird war, by adding all the Tesla weapons and vampires and werewolves and all kind of stuff like that. um, which is the way I usually, play historicals. I mean, I play historical straight historical, but then I also reuse my miniatures um, by doing that whole set of Weird War gaming with it. Um, the next thing you're going to need is a place to play it. I recommend not in somebody's basement, or as we like to call it here, their murder dungeon. I recommend that you go to a game store and partner with the owner of the game store and set up a certain night for you guys to meet there. Put up a flyer saying, hey, we're going to meet here on Sundays and we're going to be gaming from this time to this time. Set those times, be consistent, and stick to those times. Even if on your first day only one person shows, just being consistent, showing up 3 or 4 or 5 times in a row. I mean, we had a guy who was really into this one game that nobody else even heard of, but he brought two armies. He sat it on the table with the terrain. And the first week he was there, nobody showed up to play. Second week he was there, nobody showed up to play. Third week he was there, two people showed up to play. And now he has a group of like 8 people all playing that game. But he didn't give up after the first 2 or 3 times. He sat there with the armies, and when people came over and asked him about it, he told them, and he was welcoming and friendly. And I think his attitude and the fact that he had stuff for people to try out, so people didn't have to go out and buy an army to play the game to try it with him, was a big selling point for getting people to come play with him. The other part of that is that by having a game store, you don't have to deal with people in their homes. It's a nice neutral place for people to meet at, and it also helps the store generate business and hopefully keeps it open in your area. Maybe the people buy some paint or some brushes or some miniatures from them, and off to the races you go. So putting up a flyer in the store or wherever you're going to be gaming at, letting people know what time you're going to be there and what to expect, is important. Social media, of course, is a no-brainer. I mean, Facebook, Reddit, um, Instagram, all those type of things. You can join groups like I created a Detroit Tabletop Gaming League. You can create groups or go to groups. Maybe there's an Alaska Wargaming Society or Skirmish Gaming Society, and if there's not one, maybe you can make one, and then let people know where you're at and where you're playing at. Um, in those type of social media settings. It costs nothing to do that. And you might want to start with a game that you like. If you like a certain type of game and you have two armies, bring those in terrain to the first game, and then you might not even be playing the first time you guys meet. You might just be showing other people how to play. I've done that a lot too, where I've brought games and I've just been the referee as people have played through the rules. For guards, I do that all the time at conventions. I love it. It's one of the fun things to do is watch other people play, and all I'm doing is calling balls and strikes. Um, know what you can do and what you can't do. Don't make promises you can't keep. You know, if you're bringing terrain, then bring the terrain. If you're bringing miniatures, bring the miniatures. If you can't do that and you're dependent on somebody else, then let them know that you don't have it. I mean, the first couple of games I played, it was soup cans, bags of wheat and sugar and flour, and some pasta boxes. I mean, that's what we were using when I first started gaming. I was 8, but there's that. So it doesn't have to be anything over the top. Just having some good people around you is important, and you want to cultivate that crowd. You want to work on building that crowd in your Alaska area, and foremost, be welcoming, be friendly. There's no stupid questions. Treat everybody as if they were a guest at your house. Um, and you should be on your way to cultivating a really good group. I mean, our group started off with like 4 people, and now it's like 59 people, and you have to like make reservations to come and play for table space. I mean, it just grows like that. So let me know how it goes. And this time next year, you should have a huge group of Alaskan gamers. Um, and if you like this advice, share it, and don't forget to buy your miniatures from Gaddis Gaming. And there's your discount code. All right, Jonathan, have a great day.